Hey guys, so I tell like it is. After the news of Davey Martinez becoming the Washington Nationals manager, now it is never more clear that it is going to be the Washington Nationals as your winner for the 2018 World Series. I am the first person in the history of Gematria to predict a World Series matchup exactly months before it happened. In the month of May, I predicted the matchup of the World Series to be Dodgers versus Astros. Many people at the start of the year had the Washington Nationals winning the World Series, but back in May, I released this video that the Washington Nationals were going to win the 2018 World Series. Dusty Baker is not the manager right now, but it's funny how there are certain narratives that you can try to look out for years in advance, because after all, in Gematria, the practice of coding letters and words into numbers, sports winners are determined years well in advance. The Washington Nationals, I told people, were not going to win the 2017 World Series. Many people found that out the hard way. And in Gematria, the goal always is to predict sports winners years in advance. I got the Dodgers wrong, but this was a major accomplishment for Gematria itself, for the code, to predict the matchup months and months in advance. I was the first to do it for baseball. The NBA is so easy to do. And even the year before, nobody had the Cleveland Indians versus the Chicago Cubs. This year, I'm going to try to predict the matchup as well as the winner. I'm not exactly sure about the matchup, but I have a 75% confidence factor that the matchup is going to be correct for this year. This year, I am predicting for 2018 the Washington Nationals to defeat the Baltimore Orioles in the 2018 World Series. We're going to have a Beltway Series in October. So starting off with the news of the Washington Nationals appointing Davey Martinez as the manager, agreeing to a 3-year deal. Davey Martinez was introduced to the team on November the 2nd of 2017. November the 2nd, 11-2. Houston in Gematria equals 112. This coming after the Houston Astros won the World Series. Dave Martinez, the goal has not been ever more clear. The narrative has never been more clear than before. We are not here just to win a playoff game. We're here to win the World Series. The Nationals have huge expectations for this upcoming season. Dusty Baker failed to deliver for the Chicago Cubs, for the San Francisco Giants, for the Cincinnati Reds when they were in the playoffs. And then he failed to deliver for the Washington Nationals. It's interesting that this World Series is the 114th World Series. The fact that Dusty Baker, his full name in Gematria equals 114. So they do build up those narratives well in advance. He goes by the name Dave instead of Davey Martinez, kicking up the Gematria in the Gematria calculator. It's interesting that Dave Martinez in Gematria equals 57. World Series as well equals 57. 57 is a very special number for championships. 57 and championship equal 131. Part of the reason why I predicted the Dodgers to reach the 2017 World Series was the fact that Magic Johnson, part owner of the Dodgers, was 57 years old at the start of the season. Davey Martinez's name in Gematria is very interesting. Davey Martinez equals 64. When he was named the Nationals manager before he was introduced, at that time there were 64 American League winners. The Houston Astros were the 65th American League winner. As it relates to the Houston Astros being the 65th American League winner, it's interesting that Bryce Harper in Gematria equals 65. So how to interpret that? Once the Nationals reach the World Series, the American League is going to remain at 65 World Series titles. The Nationals can become the 49th National League team to win the World Series in 2018. Right now, there are 48 winners of the National League for the World Series. Washington and gematria equals 49. The president right now that resides in the nation's capital, Donald J. Trump in gematria equals 49. This upcoming World Series is definitely going to be a tribute to the Donald. Okay, 2018 Nationals, where is it? I had 2018 Nationals on here. Okay, I have to type it in on Google. So the 2018 Nationals, this is going to be their 50th season as a franchise. It's interesting that Donald equals 50, America equals 50. We are talking about the team that resides in the capital of America. Take a look at Dave Martinez's birthday, or simply his last Major League Baseball appearance for the Atlanta Braves. October the 7th, 10-7 can be written out as 107. Championship drought in gematria equals 107. I talked about the significance of the color red. Why red represents popes ordained bishops, the College of Cardinals. The Nationals wear the same shade of red that the popes ordained bishops wear. The year 17 and 18 mini sports championships continue to the next year equals 35. The year 18 is going to be significant for teams that wear the color red. It's interesting that in gematria, it's going up here. Red in gematria equals 18. This year, I'm thinking it's going to be a really big year for sports teams that wear red. Like Bayern Munich in the Champions League. This year, we're going to see a very strong chance of a 9-7 team winning the Super Bowl. I can see it happening for the Arizona Cardinals. When talking about the number 35 again, it's interesting that Strasburg and Catholic equal 35. Dave Martinez, towards the end of the year, his birthday in September, he's going to turn 54 years old. It's interesting that he was born in the year 64 teams that won the American League during the World Series, during the playoffs when he was named the manager. I find that pretty interesting. He's going to turn 54 years old. Jesuit Order 54. The color red is very significant for Catholicism. The year 2018 is going to be very significant. Once again, the Nationals in the nation's capital. The president right now is President Trump. Both of these equals 72. I'm predicting the Baltimore Orioles to reach the World Series this year. They reached the World Series. The last time they reached the World Series was in 1979. The amount of time from 1979 to 2018 is a time span of 39 years. Interesting enough. And this directly relates to Bryce Harper. I believe Bryce Harper in Pythagorean gematria equals 39. I can look it up again. I've already predicted Bryce Harper to join the New York Yankees at the end of next year. I think the name Harper equals 39. Harper equals 39, the American League team that he could face in the World Series. Remember, Bryce Harper, 65 American League teams. 39 years ago was the last time that the Baltimore Orioles reached the World Series. When looking at their manager, Buck Showalter has managed many great teams. His birthday is on May the 23rd. May the 23rd of the year 18. My touchscreen is broken. My keyboard needs to be replaced. Oops. Let's see, May the 23rd of 2018 20 here. His birthday numerology is 66. What that means for Buck Showalter is that there is a narrative for the Baltimore Orioles to become the 66 American League team to win the World Series. When you do these dates in the date numerology calculator, it can definitely mean that there may be narratives, but it may not be an exact tribute, and that's the key to the interpretive stage of gematria. I find it interesting too that Baltimore versus Washington equals 113. What this means is that there's been 113 prior World Series to this year. This can definitely be the matchup for the upcoming World Series. Now let's type in Baltimore in the calculator. Baltimore equals 41. 41 is the 13th prime. This World Series ended at Los Angeles, California the past year. Los Angeles, California equals 41 in 113. I correctly predicted the World Series to end at Los Angeles, California, but I just got the wrong winner for the past World Series. You can also enter Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland. I remember significant value. Baltimore, Maryland equals 112. This World Series could end in Baltimore this upcoming year. The last World Series ended on the road. The last American League team to win the World Series was Houston. Houston in gematria equals 112. Now Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland in gematria equals 49. Washington 49. The 49th team to win the World Series can win the World Series at Baltimore. This is looking very likely that this World Series, this upcoming year, is going to end at Baltimore. Remember that President Trump equals 72. Max Scherzer's birthday numerology connects to the President of the United States, July the 27th. It is. July the 27th of 2018 has a birthday numerology of 72. Recall that President Trump 2018 equals 72, special year for Max Scherzer after he lost Game 5 of the divisional series. He wears number 31 as well. Houston in gematria equals 31. This is very interesting. Very interesting number there. His birthday numerology equals the same gematria value as Donald Trump. His birthday is on June the 14th. The amount of time from June the 14th to Max Scherzer's birthday, 1 month and 13 days, a lot like 113 past World Series, 43 days. Champion equals 43. Very interesting there. Bryce Harper's birthday, October the 16th, is going to be significant as well. October the 16th of 2018. October the 16th of 2018, birthday numerology of 64. The manager with the World Series connections, Davey Johnson, was born in the year 64 as well. You take away the 20, this equals 44. And why that is special is that there's going to be a very special farewell to Bryce Harper for the upcoming season. Farewell equals 44. I find that very interesting for his birthday. His prior birthday numerology before the start of the year equals 63.
When are you going to work?
I'm leaving in 10 minutes. I was going to walk over. Oh, that's fine. So once again, this is all the numbers for this upcoming World Series. I correctly predicted the World Series matchup well in advance. I was the first to do it well in advance. It doesn't count when you sugarcoat and run numbers for a few teams, but you pick one. But when that one team is wrong, well, you said, I run numbers on this team because they were the second or third team in my list of teams I can win. That's just sugarcoating a prediction, okay? It doesn't mean you predicted that team to win. For example, let's say if, for example, you had the Cleveland Indians as your first choice for the American League, Houston was your second, and New York was your third choice. Well, You predicted the Indians to win the World Series, and you got that team wrong. Well, I ran numbers for Houston as well back in April, so I called them back in April. No, you didn't. Houston was just the second team on your list of teams that can win. It still doesn't change the fact that you predicted Cleveland to reach the American League. That's just sugarcoating your picks. Many people out there do this. I don't sugarcoat teams. I give you winners months in advance. This year, I'm going to get the champion well. The World Series matchup, it's very well looking like it could be Baltimore. I look out for Baltimore, the American League East, especially with the turnover in the Yankees and the Red Sox organizations. New managers, Buck Showalter's as good as they get out there. Definitely looking very good for Baltimore next year, but Washington's definitely taking it. I was the first one out there to predict the Washington Nationals to win the 2018 World Series back in May of 2017. Once again, rigging by the numbers. Washington winning the World Series. Washington versus Baltimore, I'm super confident in.